I posted a video about fighting an old credit card debt because they're trying to sue me and garnish my wages, and I have a lot of people in my comments telling me I should pay my bills.
I'm being sued by Capital One for an alleged debt of $3,405.75.
Here's day one of trying to come up with $10,000 because I'm being sued.
Okay, so today we're going to be taking a look at some people who are getting sued for their credit card debt because I guess some people still have not gotten the message. These companies will go after you for anything, whether you have $10,000 worth of debt or $10, they don't care. And with the average credit card debt per person in the US rising every time we get new data, this is only going to become more common. We have a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with this crazy one.
I posted a video about fighting an old credit card debt because they're trying to sue me and garnish my wages, and I have a lot of people in my comments telling me I should pay my bills. No, unless it's an immediate monthly bill that could get something cut off in my house, it is not considered a necessity to me. I don't care if I rack up the debt myself. If I can't pay it and I don't pay it, you gotta fight me for it. There is no moral compass when it comes to these companies for me. I don't give a f. There was also a lot of people very concerned about my credit score. You guys are more concerned about it than me. I don't care about my credit score. A lot of people move through life without actually ever using their credit score. I'm one of those people. I don't let their scare tactics scare me. The debts get passed from company to company to company to company, and by the time it gets to company number 5, they paid like $2 for my $900 debt. They're not getting that money. End of story.
Unless they take you to court, which they did with this person, and are also trying to garnish her wages. Seems like they are going to be getting their money at the end of the day. And just like her saying she has no moral compass for these companies, neither do they. They don't care what's going on in your life. They just want their money. And also her saying she doesn't care about credit score, she's not going to use it, probably because it tanked. It's very difficult in today's age to go through life not using it at all. Obviously, people are going to look at it for any future credit cards, if you want a mortgage, a car loan, but even if you want to rent an apartment now, landlords check your credit. So does that mean you're going to pay everything in full in cash for the rest of your life? With home prices being an average $400,000 and a new vehicle being $50,000, I don't think too many people could do that. We got a comment from you guys right here. I know someone who stopped paying her minimum payments because she couldn't afford them and now Discover is taking her to court. And she blames everyone else in her life for her debt and situation. And now we could go over to a clip that I guess is more common than I thought, because there's a good amount of people who don't even know you could get sued by these credit card companies.
People don't even realize they can be sued for debt. Like, this is mostly credit card debt, and people just presume it goes away. It's maybe going to hit their credit report. They're going to get some collection calls. Most people are shocked when they realize that's not the reality of what happens. People actually do get sued for debt. If you default on a credit card, you're going to get sued. You're going to be served with a lawsuit. And so then you end up you either hire an attorney like us, or you just don't do anything. You end up with a default judgment where they can, at that point, they're going to garnish bank accounts or wages in most states.
And this goes very well with a comment from you guys talking about an older clip. The first video with a woman absolutely astounded that a credit card company would sue people for unpaid debts, saying this has never happened before. I worked for a credit division of a major national catalog store back in the early 80s. We were suing people back then for long-term delinquency. Like they said in the last clip, I feel like some people just think that they're going to get a lot of phone calls. They'll ignore them and block all the numbers. You'll take a credit hit, it won't look good for a while, and then that's it. You're in the clear. And that's just not what happens. We could take a look at some clips on screen. Me when Amex mailed me a letter saying they were going to sue me because I stopped paying my credit card for like 6 months. When Best Buy sued me for $969 because I stopped paying my credit card. Me ignoring the debt collectors knowing they just sued me and I'm actively going to court for medical bills. eBay sending me to collections for $11.86. And another, I don't need to worry about my credit card debt. Nobody pays that anyway. It's all a scheme. And then you get sued by your creditors.
I have to do something upsettingly adult. So, I'm being sued for credit card debt. And I had a tattoo scheduled next week. A tattoo that I have been trying to get for over a year, that I already had scheduled and rescheduled multiple times. I finally put a deposit down and was committed and ready to go in and get that tattoo. But since I am being sued for credit card debt, I have to get an attorney. And the flat fee that the attorney is asking for is exactly the amount that I had saved for the tattoo. So, tragically, I have emailed my artist to reschedule once again. And I am going to use my tattoo money for my legal fees.
It's weird. It's like actions have consequences. You had enough money to put down a deposit for the tattoo, but you still didn't want to pay back the credit card debt. And I mean, even call the company. It's much easier for them to put you on some sort of payment plan instead of going to court. But like we saw with the last clip, she thought nobody pays it back. It's all a scheme. And then you end up getting taken to court. But still, there are so many people who don't take this seriously at all.
You owe $1,000. Don't know where you're getting that from. Genuinely don't know how you're gonna get that.
I don't understand why debt collectors even call me anymore. I gotta be on like a database of, because why the if I didn't pay the initial entity that I owed the money to, and then it hit my credit, why would I pay little bro after it already touched my credit?
To anyone that works as a debt collector, you're gonna have to pry that from my corpse. You're not getting a dime. You're not getting you. Stop calling me!
And no matter how much you scream to your iPhone in the car, they'll still go after you for the money. We'll take a look at the comment sections for these clips. This makes me feel better about having debt collectors calling me right now. T-Mobile is currently suing me over $140. I owe $1,700 and they act like I took out $200,000. Well, if $1,700 is such a small amount to you, why don't you pay it back then? It's virtual money anyway. It doesn't exist, so we're paying back the bank's money that never really existed the way I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. You are. This is the same argument that I see in almost every one of these comment sections. Whether you think that this is fair or not, that's just how finances work in the world now. But when it comes to you, they could take everything away from you just to recoup the debt you owe. They called me last week about a loan in 2020 for $700, saying that they're taking me to court. I don't care. Bye. And this is me with my school loan. And I think that's a pretty good transition into the next clip.
Hey, so, I don't know why nobody talks about this, and maybe it's just because I'm the only one, but my mom told me that I wasn't. I ignored my student loans, and it just hit my credit, and now I feel like a failure. And now I have to figure it all out. No one ever teaches you how to pay the back.
Okay, so I know this isn't exactly credit card debt, but in the same realm, but this is now happening to so many people as well.
This could impact millions of student loan borrowers who are in default. Starting in January, some of them could have their wages garnished. That means payments taken directly from their paychecks, but the Education Department says that wouldn't start until they've received sufficient notice and opportunity to repay their loans.
So imagine you getting the 1-2 punch, being taken to court for credit card debt while you're already getting garnished for not paying your student loans. I would not want to be in that situation whatsoever. But let's move on to a couple clips with just horrible financial advice.
Listen, if you can't pay for your car anymore, just stop paying for it. Hide it. They're not going to look for it forever. If you can't afford your credit cards no more and it's stopping you from being able to invest in your business or your life or whatever, just stop paying for it. Like, just stop paying for it. These banks don't give a about you. These people don't give a about you. You're a number. They're trying to make money off you. That's all they care about. You quit paying, they're going to sell the debt off, and they're going to move on. They're going to probably get paid twice for it because they're going to still chase after you for the balance. They might sue you, just don't answer the door. Yeah, maybe they could serve you in the newspaper, but probably they won't. It depends on where you live.
Okay, so that was a pretty hard watch. We'll just go through the whole clip. First with the car, just stop paying it, hide the vehicle so the repo man can't get it, and I guess she thinks after a few weeks or a few months they're just gonna give up and go, all right, yeah, that's fine, you got a free car. And if you have seen the repossession videos on this channel, you know that that is not true. Then with the credit card companies, they don't care about you, you're just a number, which is true and exactly why they are ruthless. They don't care that you just lost your job and you're falling behind on payments. They're still gonna sue you regardless. I do like that when she was talking about the credit card companies selling off the debt to someone else, she paused for a second or two because she knows that those companies will also sue you as well. You're not going to get off the hook with them either. And then her sound advice of just don't open the door, ignore being sued. For some reason, I don't think that that's the best decision. We'll go over to some of the comments. No ma'am, the credit card people will sue you. The car advice is really bad. They'll go hell and back to get a car. Exactly. You took out a loan, why not just pay it? We're adults and should be more responsible. And she replies, boring. We got another comment from you guys right here. This is why it's called a credit card and not a gift card. But we'll just move on to yet another terrible clip.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't pay those credit cards. Default on them credit cards. If you're young and you don't need your credit right now, if you're not trying to buy a car, if you're not trying to buy a house, why are you paying that? Most of that is going to interest. You done f***ed up. You done maxed them out. What you're going to be paying that for the rest of your life, homie. Don't pay it. Default. Let it go to collections. Let me tell y'all. When I was younger, when I was a young lad, no, but for real though, when I was younger, I said, you know what? I was like I was in the industry, I was a server, and I was like paying my credit cards, but I'm like, damn, I could have so much money if I was just not paying this right now, because like it'd be rent, credit cards, broke again. I was like in this vicious cycle. So I said, and I was checking everything, and I'm like, damn, this is going to interest. Like, no, I'm never gonna pay this. I remember they did like a calculation for me. It was like 15 years. I was like, 15 years? Who has 15 years? Not me.
This is a perfect example of why I think financial literacy is very important at a young age. Just another person who doesn't know how interest works. Along with overspending and living above your means, being a server, maxing out the credit cards and not being able to pay them back. We could go over to a couple of comments. Yeah, don't follow this advice. Worst advice on the planet. And at least I was a little happier because that's what most of the people thought in this comment section. But we'll move on to another person getting sued for $10,000.
Here's day one of trying to come up with $10,000 because I'm being sued. So why am I being sued for $10,000 actually? Because I tried to go to college. Because I graduated from college, actually. So around my second year of college, I decided to get a credit card because books themselves were $3,600. As a 20-year-old who was in college, clearly didn't have a job, and needed a way to come up with money for books, for food, for basic necessities. And let me remind you, this is what these cards prey on, okay? You literally see notifications everywhere. Get the student credit card and get $1,000 back on every book you buy. Not true, by the way. So then, of course, as any college student would do, I rack up the credit card, buying my books, buying my food, sometimes my alcohol, and then I graduated in 2020.
Okay, so this clip is a lot longer than what we watched, but at the end of there, graduating at 2020, she also blamed COVID that she wasn't able to work, and then racked up more and more debt. But we'll go over to the comment section. The lack of accountability is crazy. People were allowed to work during COVID. Maybe there were more rules during it, but it's not like every single person stayed at home doing nothing for a couple years. Going to college does not equal buying things you can't afford. The creator responds, one semester of books cost $3,500. No college student has that in their pocket. Another reply, I'm a college student and have that in my pocket. It's called a job. The original creator is a little salty, and there's another comment, college students that can't afford it get jobs to be able to, not take out loans and rack up credit card debt. So you got into credit card debt, and then you thought the logical step was to increase your debt by about $50,000 after that? I don't know, a single college student who doesn't have a job, unemployed at 20 is insane. Girl, did you think it was free money? Why weren't you working? I'm a full-time student and I work. I'm just confused on why you didn't be responsible. There was a lot more comments like that, but we got another one from you guys. I could understand needing to rely on a credit card in a difficult situation, but I absolutely can't understand frivolous spending and then just not paying. How do people live with that hanging over their life? Even my mortgage is stressing me out. I feel the exact same way. I would be stressed out all the time, and I'm not trying to take away the fact that more people are relying on credit cards just to survive, the groceries, the bills, the necessities, but then on the other hand, you see a lot of people living above their means, buying whatever they want, primarily just to impress people online.
Yeah, I'm so overly stressed out right now, and I'm really just trying to continue to motivate myself to work because I have no motivation to work right now. Just this week, I got extra hours, which made me become a full-time worker here, 32 hours compared to the 12 hours that I was getting. As soon as I accepted the new hours, y'all, I got a notification that I was going to get garnished out of my check. At first, I thought it was like a scam. I'm like, what? Like, all of this is by surprise. But I knew I had stuff going on, court cases where I maxed out credit cards, all of this back then. So I kind of do a little investigation, you know. I realized that it is Capital One, and they claiming $6,275 when I only use $4,000 on a credit card.
Okay, so I'm cutting this one off also because it goes for a lot longer. I thought it was interesting that she had to look into it to realize it was Capital One. You didn't even know the credit card company that was suing you and then garnishing your wages? And then this clip goes on, another example of somebody not knowing what interest does. She maxed out a $4,000 credit card but now owes over $6,000. And yeah, now she's in a really tight spot. We got another comment from you guys right here. I worked in the court system in California for 30 years before retiring. Credit card companies have always been very aggressive in filing lawsuits to recover delinquent debt. But let's move on to the debt collector segment of this video.
Do you have to pay debt collectors?
Do you have to pay a debt collector? Absolutely not. Should you pay a debt collector? Absolutely not. And I'm going to tell you why. You simply don't owe a third-party debt collector a dime. You don't owe it.
Let's just go straight over to the comment section. Yeah, my credit score says differently, while the judge that attached my wages says differently. This is yet another argument that I see. As soon as the big companies, Discover, Capital One, Amex, sell the debt off to another company, you don't have to pay. Just ignore them and you're going to get away scot-free. And as we could see by some of these examples coming up, that's not what happens either.
You are being sued. Guys, read those 4 words right there. This happens to so many clients. As you can tell, this is originally from Commodity Capital Bank. They sold it off to Midland Credit, and Midland Credit said, we're going to take it to court. Guys, this process can take 6 months to a year or even longer. They have 7 years to sue you, and I have multiple clients in this situation. As you guys even notice here, it's only for about $1,400, which isn't much, guys. So if you have anything like this, you need to be very careful.
And there you go. Another example, $1,400. I'm not saying that's no money, but it is a little petty in comparison to people who are in $20,000, $25,000 worth of credit card debt. But it doesn't matter. You're still going to get sued.
LVNV funding will take you to court. This here is a real and legal court summons for our client who is being sued by LVNV funding for a collection that she just let sit on her credit report and that she did nothing about. Understand, collection agency's business model is to buy your debt from the original creditor for a smaller amount of money and then to come after you for the original amount with a lawsuit so that you pay it and they make a profit. The key is, a lot of the time they do not also receive the documentation that is needed in order to validate this debt if you force them to. And the only way you force them to is by filing disputes. You don't want to wait until things go this far, because after this, disputing does not work. You now have to either represent yourself in court or get a lawyer. So do not wait. If you have collections, LVNV funding, Midland Credit, all the other guys, dispute them, and if necessary, negotiate a pay per delete if it doesn't come off with disputes.
So all of the different people that I see on social media saying don't pay, just completely ignore them, is legitimately the worst advice you could give. Imagine not paying the collection company and they sue you 3 years later, and now you have to show up to court and pay the full amount. But as crazy as this sounds, I guess there's a good amount of people who take to social media to get advice when they're being sued.
Is there anybody on here who can help me? I am being sued by Capital One for a past due account. The paperwork says account stated. The notice is their very last statement they sent me on before the account was considered delinquent. I have been getting a lot of different things as I do research on this app, TikTok. A lot of people saying, go get a debt validation letter, send it to them, take it to court, tell them that you requested it so it pushes it 30 days out. Another one was saying something about a clarity report or something like that.
Why are you doing research for this on TikTok? Get a lawyer. You're just going to take the advice from random comments on the internet. But let's take this a step further.
I'm being sued by Capital One for an alleged debt of $3,405.75. Here's how I'm going to beat these allegations. Without a lawyer. Just kidding. I actually hired the best firm on earth for people like me. Broke people with nothing more than a few cents to their name. They start at $20 a month with no retainer, no talking back, no and moaning. Open AI! Before I get into it, I must warn you that this is not advice. This is just simply what I am doing.
So please don't do what he's doing. Maybe it's a step above asking random people on TikTok for this advice, but still, overall, something that I probably wouldn't want to rely on if I'm being sued. Some of this stuff you really can't make up.
So I got a lawsuit from my credit card for non-payments, and I spoke to a lawyer who advised that I file for bankruptcy. and I wasn't sure if that was my only
bankruptcy
option.
lawyer?
Yes.
Yeah, well, asking a bankruptcy lawyer if you're bankrupt is like asking a dog if it's hungry.
Yeah. How much is the lawsuit, Eric?
12,000.
What do you make?
Less than 10,000.
Why?
I'm working 2 part-time jobs. One's like $8 an hour, and the other's $12 an hour.
You're not working them much.
Yeah. How old are you, Eric?
31.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Yeah, and what's happened with you, brother?
Yeah.
Sounds like you've been kicked around.
How come you don't have a full-time job, Eric?
Well, after college, I applied, but I didn't have any help. And I lost my last job with the pandemic.
What was your last job, sir?
I was bussing tables at Olive Garden.
Okay. And you're 31?
Yes.
What did you go to school for?
Creative writing.
Okay, so when I saw this clip, I immediately thought something's missing. Now, I'm not judging, but he's not telling the whole story. You mean a creative writing degree doesn't equal instant success? I mean, we've gone over the college degrees a couple times on this channel. Just file, absolutely nothing wrong with it. You could move forward. Yeah, just after 7 years of your life. In that time, this guy will be almost 40 years old. But I think you guys got the point for this video. We'll just finish off with this clip.
Don't pay, don't pay, don't pay. That's all I see on TikTok. If you're getting jammed up by your debt collector for old credit card, I'm hearing all sorts of ways of don't pay, don't pay, don't pay. No one talks about the truth, right? No one says, hey, did you take out that card? I know you did. Was it you that spent the money? I know it was. No one wants to hold anybody accountable anymore. No one wants to say, look, you took it out, you spent it, you didn't pay it. A couple years later, somebody buys that debt and they're trying to collect on it. It's not brain surgery, guys. It's just not. But everybody's trying to beat everybody else. Again, you have to make them prove it. If it's Amex, Discover, they got you. They got you by the short and curlies. I'm sorry.
And it's just really simple as that. There's a paper trail for every single thing that you use the credit card for. And in some places, they can connect that to a CCTV camera, watching you purchase those items with that card. In today's world, somebody is watching you 24/7. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.